Hey Alcove. So I'm going to continue with this series that I'm doing here, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, about why I think we are moving towards higher consciousness and getting back to our roots and spirituality and connection because of the way that the world is. And I want to bring up conspiracy theories. I think that conspiracy theories are only conspiracy theories because there is no definitive proof or answers and no true investigation like there should be in those situations. I think more recent in history and politics and all the things that are happening, there is no truth. It is not a straightforward answer, and people want answers, and there is no answer, and they're not going to give us an answer. And that's part of them pushing fear and control and corrupt ideas into society to keep us in a state of fear, to keep us questioning, wondering, pitted against each other in a lot of ways. And I just see it as a big game. I think it's all such a big farce at this point, and their biggest fear is people banding together and revolution and going against them and figuring out that there can be power in the many if you wake up and have a knowing within yourself. And I think it is coming to a point where people are just fed up and they're looking for that truth, that foundation, that inner knowing, and having more connection to humans and community and some type of truth. Because we're just constantly with the media, like I said, getting programmed, and it's just so ridiculous. All of it is just ridiculous. And I think we need more happiness, peace, connection in this world that we live in, for sure. So I'm going to keep going with kind of where I left off. We're going to talk about connecting system failures with where we're going in a spiritual awakening or higher consciousness or whatever you want to say. The breakdown of trust as a spiritual catalyst. Systems as mirrors. Failing external structures reflect a deeper need for internal truth with the government and the world around us. Moving from fear to freedom. Losing faith in big institutions forces people to rely on their own inner guidance. Going within, meditation, finding faith and spirituality, connecting with others that think in a similar way. The illusion of safety. Systems are cracking so that real organic human connection can grow. Find safety within yourself. Know that no matter what, you've got you. Emotional sovereignty in a chaotic world. Whose energy is it? Separate the collective panic and media noise from your own personal peace. Be mindful of what you're consuming and the people around you. Transmuting heavy contrast. Witnessing systematic cruelty can actually deepen our capacity for love, empathy, and peace. The more we get disgusted by what is happening, the more we are forced into wanting change. Breaking generational conditioning. How upbringing and media shape our fears and how to consciously let those walls down with limiting beliefs. I talked about this in the last one. Returning to the roots and human sovereignty. Nature as medicine. Decoupling from high-tech dependency and returning to the earth heals the body and soul. Self-reliance and community. The shift towards local food, shared skills, and building systems based on care instead of profit. AI and the human soul. The rise of tech shows us what cannot be programmed, like consciousness, intuition, and real healing. That is so true. The solo journey, shared consciousness relationships. The isolation of waking up. The loneliness or disconnect people feel from friends and family when they start self-reflecting. this is a big one because I definitely went through this. For the past couple years, I felt very alone. I felt like my whole world crumbled around me after my mom passed away. And I really went within. I started looking at myself, how I thought about myself, what was my own beliefs and what was placed upon me from people in my past or social media or the media in general, and growing up, what your parents put upon you and the ideals, and really picking that apart. And I think that is important. I think we all need to do that and figure out what is your own personal thoughts, your own beliefs as your own person versus everything else, all the noise, all the stuff that, even having to put walls up as you're growing up when you experience certain things like hate or this or that make you put these walls up. And why do we do that? And how did they get there? And why do I do this or that in certain situations? Like, I think it's important to really self-reflect and look at that and truly figure out who you are, not what everyone else wants you to be. Healing from toxic dynamics. Moving past manipulative or narcissistic structures in the world helps us heal our personal relationships. Attracting your tribe. Finding a healthy partner requires standing firmly in your own peace first. I talked about this prior, like two whole people coming together instead of two halves trying to make a whole, right? Or even in friendships and other relationships, like finding those people that are going to boost you up, have a similar way of thinking, get excited for you when you are advancing or congratulating you and helping you get to different higher places, right? Depending on who you have around you is how you're going to think. And if you have positive people and positive incentives and just peaceful relationships and people around you that are going to lift you up every day, I think that is so important, instead of bringing you down or saying something nasty or just all of that stuff, jealousy. And I talk about this all the time, but that's not your stuff, right? You gotta hold yourself, your energy within you, and all that negativity, just let it go, because it's not your stuff. That is their stuff to figure out. They need to look within, they need to find themselves. I think, going through life and seeing that on an everyday basis, whether it's at work or in public, wherever you go, it's such a stark difference with people. And you have to just, wish them healing, wish that they find themselves and they find that part of them and let go of that trauma and the reasons that they push hate or negativity into the world. That's their own stuff. That's not your stuff, right? You need to find you and be yourself every day and just let that be, and try to call in the right people around you so that your life is more peaceful, more positive every day. Okay, so consciousness is moving away from abstract theory and into a practical tool for daily survival. In the future, high awareness will not be a luxury for spiritual seekers, but a necessary skill to navigate a chaotic world. The future path of consciousness. From collective to individual. People will stop relying on mass media and big institutions to tell them what is true. I think we're already there. Now we have independent media, we have podcasts, we have other people that are diving into different topics and trying to find the truth within it. And I think that is such a good thing. It is such a good thing in our society that we have different ideas and these different ways to get news and information so that we can make our own decision. I talked about that yesterday. Do your own research. You have to find what you think is the truth within all of this stuff, right? And I don't think that we get the truth from mainstream media anymore. It's just not the case. It's not happening. They are skewing it to use it as propaganda and fear and mind control, and it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. But from thinking to feeling, society will value deep intuition, empathy, and energetic boundaries over pure logic and data. From separation to connection, waking up to a global pain will drive people to form tight, local, and heart-centered communities. I said that. That's where I think this is going. And I think it's already gone there. I've seen people on social media making communities and saying, hey, I will sell you half an acre if you come live here and contribute to our community and, garden or whatever you do that is your skill that you're bringing to the table, come live here if you want. And I think that is just amazing. Like, my dream, I would love to find my soul family and create a little tiny house community and have a garden, and that to me is freedom. That to me means freedom and peace and happiness, and I would live out my life in the best version of myself. So I think there's going to be more of that going forward, of people that just want to get away from all of this chaos and corruption. How it will fit into our lives. Guarding your personal peace. Energetic shields. People will view protecting their mental peace as a daily health requirement, just like drinking clean water. Filtering the noise. Individuals will consciously choose when to detach from global panic and digital overload to stay grounded. Again, I think people already do this. Sometimes you need to just get away and go into nature and just detach from social media or log off and just find that peace. And I think it's happening more and more as time goes on. Rewriting personal relationships. High vibrational bonds. Friendships and romances will be built on shared self-awareness and mutual emotional healing. Zero tolerance for drama. People will quickly spot manipulation or toxic patterns, choosing solo peace over low energy dynamics. Creating independent systems. Earth-based living. Daily routines will heavily focus on nature, clean food, and simple habits to heal the body and soul. Human-centric tech. As AI handles standard tasks, humans will focus entirely on what machines lack: true presence, creativity, and love. Consciousness, we already said that. So I guess I'm going to stop there. I think for sure earth-based living, daily routines will heavily focus on nature, clean food, and simple habits to heal the body and soul. I've already focused on that. I focus on that every day. My daily routines is, yes, I'm on here, I'm on social media, but I use this in a way to help other people maybe connect or see how I've lived, or connect with wanting more peace, positivity in their lives. I think that's huge, trying to help people heal through difficult times in their life and overcome and see how much strength you need to have to get through those things, and see yourself in a way where you're recognizing that within yourself, your skills, how amazing you are, just, yes, putting positivity out in the world every day. That's a choice. That is a choice to make every day when you wake up. It is a choice to be positive. It is a choice to push that onto other people and lift them up and hope that they have a great day, and just trying to lessen the negativity in the world. And I really have had my routine down, healthy eating, trying to make sure I get out in nature and having healthy habits, not like mind, body, and soul, like I say all the time, and today's Sunday. This is my day. I start food prepping. I cut up fruit. I make dinners for the week. Like yesterday, what did I do? I cleaned my house. I went to the store. I did my laundry. I did all my errands so that I could relax today and make food for the week and enjoy my day, because I have to go, back to work tomorrow. But it's part of my routine so that I stay on that path. You know, I food prep every weekend so that during the week I can just grab and go, and it's always something healthy and something that's going to nourish my body. So, yeah, I want you guys to think about this stuff. I think it's so interesting. I definitely think, you know, people might not agree with me, but I just think our government at this point it's a game. We're never going to get the truth on anything. You know, they said that they were going to get the truth on this or that. Then we had Charlie Kirk, and with 2019, 9/11, JFK. I mean, I could go on forever, but I just, you know, they use those things to create fear. And like I talked about in my last video, I don't think we're that far off from AI, from total control surveillance state. I don't think we're that far off from having a chip and universal income, because once AI takes over all the jobs and we get to that point, where is our income coming from? I don't think we're that far off from Bitcoin and all of these things. And, you know, I think people need to wake up and see that it is scary sometimes, because they do have so much control. And where does that leave us? Where does that leave the people that don't want those things? They did it with 2019. They forced what people didn't want out of fear, right? So just be aware. Just be aware in your everyday life of what is being pushed on you, and be aware of your energy and what you want for yourself in life. I hope everyone has a beautiful day. I hope that you are in total peace and that you find your peace today. I hope you have a blessed day. I hope everything that you want in life comes towards you today. Enjoy your Sunday, and I will see you in the next one. Love you guys.